Welcome to He's Been Doing It All Day. We're Adam and Symon. This episode brought to you by the Carlton Draft. Check out our shirts on their Instagram at the Carlton Draft. Check out our Instagram at Been Doing It All Day. Check our episode out on YouTube Mondays, 7:30 p.m. They get released. Just search for He's Been Doing It All Day. All right, best weekend of the year. Prelim final weekend.
The Port Adelaide Power versus the Richmond Tigers. Now, firstly, let's talk pre-game. Hamish Hartlett shot from the hip and set the stage for a Tom Lynch showdown. If there was any doubt the Port Adelaide were coming for the Kings, this was it. Trent Cotchin was set to play his 250th game, which meant we got a week's worth of Cotchy highlights, and throughout the whole thing, there was not a single hair out of place. All right, game time. Dusty Ricky Martin was living La Vida Loca straight out of the gate with the first goal of the game, and Jackson 5, Rewalt, showed that kicking the Tigers second was as easy as ABC. The Port Adelaide young bloods responded. Rosie and our man Xavier Fred Dersma did it all for the nookie, and they kicked one each to drag the Power back. After the Dersma goal, there was no Archer celebration. He just ran straight up to our other man, Tom Lynch, and got stuck right into him. I'm sure they were just comparing their matching He's Been Doing It All Day t-shirts, which are available from the link in our Insta bio. The middle two quarters were an arm wrestle. It absolutely pissed down rain, and teams traded goals. The Power ruckman Scott Lysette looks like your dad, and like dads everywhere, he had huge balls and kicked a clutch goal to keep the Power close. Fourth quarter, 2 points in it. The stage was set for an instant classic, as Tom Lynch missed it early, and then Charlie bit my finger Dixon said, "You know what hurts? Goals hurt." The Power take the lead, and then it was time. Now everyone knows that The Undertaker was a pretender, and we all know that Kane was the true legend of that demented family. And in this family, and in this story, it was Kane who was the legend. Our man Kane Lambert snagged 2 goals in 5 minutes, and it was almost Tiger time. Nank the Tank took a game-saving mark deep inside enemy lines to stuff a last-minute resurgence, and the Tigers win, and they are going back to the G-A-B-B-A. Well done, Port Adelaide, on their year. They led from the start almost to the finish. They're young, they're tough, they'll be back. But right now, it's Tiger time, baby. The Richmond Tigers booked their spot in the grand final. 6-point victory.
Lions versus Cats. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, do I have to talk about it? I'd rather not talk about it. If I have a choice to talk about it, I'd rather not talk about it. All right, I'll talk about it. But I'm going to keep it short. Here we go. The feline fight. In the red corner, the young, hungry Lions, led by Mufasa himself, Chris Fagan. And in the blue corner, the old mangy alley cats, led by the man with the beard and the Bondi Sands tan, Chris Scott. The hoops dominated from go to woe. It seemed that in the Gabba, the mighty Gabba, the Lions were sleeping last night. The Lions seemed to have not been roused after playing only one game in the last 27 days before last night. Charlie had the Harley revving twice in the first quarter, but then disappeared into the night, and Brandon kicked a short terrible, into kick the Cats off for the night. Anyone looking to shave their legs in Queensland is in for a rude shock, because it looks like Gary Ablett has bought every bottle of Veet from every single chemist warehouse in the Sunshine State and rubbed it all over his body. The man was as hairless as he was good, and he was bloody good. He was glistening and more aerodynamic than an F1 car and Thorpe's supersuit from the 2000 Olympic Games combined. The little master kicked 2 1/4, receiving one from a throw more blatant than a Cameron Smith pass from dummy half. Gary went rowing the boat gently down the 50 for 3 goals, and Tomahawk ended with 2-3 for the night as well. The sole winner on the ground for the Lions is likely to be the sole winner of the Charles Brownlow Trophy. Lockie will be kneeling down to receive the medal tonight, and now has the fortune of not having the grand final to worry about with an absolute stinking hangover he's likely to be dealing with tomorrow. Former guests, the Hungry Hippo boys, had shots for goal each, with Ryan Lester missing, and the captain and King Hippo made it look Zach too easy as he slotted a long bomb. In the end, though, the Cats were far too good for the entire night and moved on to take on the big boss, Richmond, in another feline fight. Geelong just too bloody slippery by 40 points. And that's it for prelim final week.
How good is prelim final footy? They're just the most on the line. Players are just diving all over the place. And you get 2 games of it. That's the best part. They do it twice. So good. Like grand final week's good, but you only get 1 game. Disappointing.
Always one good game in prelim final weekend too. You always get one. There's always one that's close.
Mate.
And that was the rain. And seeing it rain, it didn't even matter. It did not matter.
It was grouse.
Also, as a side note, how many bloody hippos were playing in the prelim finals?
Mate,
we had Ryan Lester, Kane Lambert, Xavier Dersma, Tom Lynch.
And not just
bloody hippos coming out of
Not
ears.
just playing, they were in it up to their necks. I was writing a recap and I just kept writing our man Tom Lynch, our man Xavier Dersman, like they were just all our mans. It was grouse.
I was watching last night and like Lester missed a shot and then I was like, oh yeah, he was on the pod, and then I was like, oh, hang on, last night there was like Lynch, and then the ball went out the other end and Tui had it. I was like, Tui's on it as well. What are you doing?
Tui kicks a big goal. Leicester shuts down Dangerfield. Lynch is massive. He's just massive all the time. Dersma absolutely bombs one, gave it the arrow, and then ran up to Lynch. And Lambert kicked the 2, clinched at the end. Love the arrow. How excited.
It was the most aggressive arrow of the year, and oh my God, I was just like, oh.
Just in case there was any doubt that Xavier Dersman was a hungry hippo, that just took it. Just arrow and then get in the face. Get in the face.
Yeah.
But you could tell that Port Adelaide, they're just probably a year too young, maybe 2 years, because they've just got all this strut and they're like, Hartlett's saying stuff before the game and then the players are getting stuck into them before the game, just like the arrogance of youth. And the Tigers it just made me think of like those documentaries where there's like a lion that's sitting there and these little hyenas are just nipping at the lion. And then it's like when the big boss lion comes across, it's like, see you later, little pipsqueaks. That was the vibes I was getting from Friday night.
We've also got a comment on Brad Ebert, his final act in an AFL game. Oh, my goodness. I mean, he's not going to remember it. He probably won't remember the week beforehand either. But him trying to stand up afterwards, Jesus.
Very unconscious.
I just can't believe that like 2 weeks ago we sat here and we were like, all I need is Brisbane and Port to show me for the first time ever that they can do it. And credit to them, they both won. And then we sat here and we were like, all right, they did it.
Yeah.
And then they both get home prelims and they both got rolled. Like it's unbelievable. Like it's crazy.
It's amazing. So
pre-finals bye. The record is 4-6 for the teams that have won the qualifying final in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
4-6.
Yeah, I want a bigger sample size because everyone's all about like, nah, get rid of the bye. Nah, it's done.
Well, Rowan Connolly tweeted that and he said prior to that bye it was 17 from 18 teams won, and then now it's 4 from 10.
Wow.
So and there's the extra week of not playing. But
is that better because it's more fair? Is that what we're saying, or are people like, no, that's worse because it's less advantageous?
Yeah, I'm saying that it's. I mean, obviously coming from a semi-biased level with the Lions losing last night, but I feel like evening it up is like the right thing to do for the competition. But if you want to reward the teams who are winning and put themselves in a position to be advantaged, to then disadvantage them is not right.
Because then you can definitely start getting... I feel like Richmond have just been playing it a bit LeBron James style this whole year. They just kind of do enough to win, knowing that as long as they get into the finals, they'll make it. They're not stressed about playing finals and making it, which is very much LeBron. He just kind of doesn't try the whole year and then gets in and then dominates.
All right, fellas, let's talk the big dance, the big cheese, the grand final. Let's go. Who's winning the grand final?
Jeez, the Tigers look good. They just are in control. Like, they're playing something and everyone else is just doing what they want to do. But I'm going to stick with the Catters. I'm going to stick fat with the Cats, just on a pure heart call. There's no head involved with this at all. I'm going the Cats. I want them to win.
To be fair, this is just the grand final we deserved for 2020. Like, actually, I would genuinely not even watch it. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want any part of this grand final. Like, it's just... Sorry to all the Geelong and Richmond supporters out there, but, geez, it's hard to cop.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. We've also got a couple of big boys going at it at full forward from respective ends as well.
Uh-oh.
There's the big Tomahawk and Tom Lynch, the two Toms. A couple of Toms heading for it. It'll be big.
It's going to be... Yeah, there's going to be some big bodies.
once we got into the last quarter last night, I turned to my housemate and I was just like, I was flat as a tack, but I was like, you know what? We're going to get Dusty v Danger, both in their absolute primes in a granny. And like, it's not often you get kind of two of the best players in the whole competition in their primes playing each other in a granny. So I think all I want is, and I reckon Chris Scott will do it, because Danger started forward most of these sort of bigger games because they need that extra scoring option down there. But I reckon first bounce, stick him in the middle. And I want them to stand next to each other at the first bounce. Danger on Dusty. How good would that be?
Mate, put bloody Start Gary in the centre.
Yeah, it will be. Selwood,
just for the
Ablett,
first
Dangerfield,
bounce.
for sure.
Sick. Oh, that's going to be sick. And you know what I do like that Chris Scott, he also loves footy. So I feel like he gets it. He's like, no, I get it. I get that that's like what people want to see. And I feel like he buys into it a little bit with like, no, you know what? People want to see it. Let's let the big dogs go. This is the game for it.
Yeah.
We've had the whole season, let the little pups nip around, and now it's like, all right,
Theatre.
the big cheese, get in there and bloody get it done.
Mate, Geelong's also 5-0 at the Gabba. Geelong's, their last 5 games, haven't lost. They play well. Short quarters, old team. If it's going to be close, I think the Cats are going to win. Because you look the last 2 grand finals, the ones that Richmond have won, GWS and Adelaide, against them, they absolutely pummeled them. Like, game was over at quarter time in both games. If Geelong within a kick at quarter time, I reckon they'll roll them.
Whoa, that's a big call. I don't know. It's obviously going to be low scoring because that's the way Richmond do it. They just stop you scoring any goals at all. Bolter is on fire. He's obviously going to match up on Hawkins. Who's the man? Is Gary Ablett the man? Is he the man who will decide if Geelong can win this game?
Ooh. No, I think Danger is, isn't he?
I reckon you go through and it's like algebra. I reckon Danger and Danger and Dusty, they cancel each other out. And then Tom Lynch and Tom Hawkins, they cancel each other out. It's like, who is it? Kane Lambert versus Gary Ablett. Still
never seen Dusty play a bad game. I said it last week. He just does not play bad games. And then he did that on.
How's this?
So good.
Especially
saw a stat on Twitter. Dusty is the only player in history to have 20. I think it's 20-2 in 3 preliminary finals or more.
He's so good.
Solid.
That is an incredible stat.
He's so
and just back to the ground thing that you mentioned, Adam. This is my theory from halfway through the year. Grounds matter. And Chris Scott, I saw him in an interview during the week. He's like, we like playing at the Gabba. And I think small ground helps them because, as he said, they're a bit older, probably a bit slower. Yep. Richmond, when they got that final 2 weeks ago, they nominated Metricon because I think they're a big ground team. Like, they like the G, they like Metricon, they like Adelaide Oval. It's a bit skinnier, but I agree. I reckon being at the Gabba plays into Geelong's hands big time, which might be an advantage they need, but who knows?
It's going to be the best. Gary Ablett, Norm Smith.
What about as a
romance?
How do you reckon the big Nank, the Tank's going to go against the Richmond Ruckman? Because that's a big one. Because the Geelong Ruckman last night against the Lions absolutely dominated. Big O, nowhere near it. Steph Martin, nowhere near it.
Mate,
at all. Reece Stanley has come from the bloody clouds to be a genuine ruckman.
I've got a hot take on this. Mark Blicavs could be the most athletic player in the AFL. He's unbelievable. He's so tall and so fast and just gets to every contest, gets every ball. Like, he's unbelievable. He's so good. My only concern is that he might get pushed around a little bit by Nank the Tank, but once Nank gets a bit tired, it's game on. Then Reece Stanley just bloody bumps him a bit.
We were discussing last night, but there won't be any changes, will there? Like, they're not going to...
No.
They're not going to... Like, who's going to miss out? Radical Lee's going to miss out. Jack Stevens not going to get back.
Yeah, maybe Chol won't get back.
And the other one I keep thinking about is Sydney Stack, sitting at home in Melbourne, just thinking, I've just completely ruined everything. Like, he's completely blown it.
He could miss out on 2 premiership medallions last year and this year. Huge.
And how was Pickett playing his first prelim? In the first quarter, Bruce was like, well, Pickett's actually never played in a prelim. It's like, oh my God, it's crazy.
He's like, he's so cool when he plays. You're like,
he had a good last
you're playing AFL. Can you at least look a little bit panicked? He's like, yeah, it's fine. No worries.
Would love a massive pack crushed. Because it's always hot to start. It's always hot, get out of the kitchen. But I want to see a ball go high and they're just an absolute cruncher pack.
Well, that was, speaking of crunching packs, that's what Hipwood did last night. Took that absolute screamer, jumped over 2 blokes, and then missed it. Like, I reckon Lions did exactly what St Kilda did against Richmond. Had all these chances in the third quarter and just missed. And you can't miss easy shots in finals and expect to win. Like, Zorko missed.
Don't miss when you're hitting the king.
McStay missed, and then Hipwood missed from 20 out directly in front after taking that massive grab, and then Leicester missed from the pocket as well last quarter. And like, you're not going to win prelims by doing that.
Hey,
did McStay, when McStay went for that snap, did Tom Stewart break the line before the umpire called play?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah,
got to cheat, mate. It's not cheating unless you get caught. Hence, danger. Just hand passed it to Gary Ablett, and he got that goal. Perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. No worries.
hand pass. Yeah, hand pass.
Hey,
yeah, sure.
fellas, I just want to quickly run through just some. Look, we've got some people who might be betting on the game, so look, always gamble responsibly. But can we just run through just your predictions for who's going to get the first clearance? Which team?
Cats.
Justin?
I don't know. Nah, Richmond.
Right. First goal kicker?
Big Tommy. I'm back our boy in.
Castagna for me.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Castagna for me. Castagna, yep.
Castagna.
Ooh, I like it.
Just going to bob up on him.
You, Simon?
I reckon one of the smalls from the Cats. I reckon maybe even like a Zach Tui or something.
What about Gryan?
Nitro.
Yeah, Gryan could do it. Gryan needs to bounce back. He had a bit of a
Gryan he has not had a great finals.
No.
Like early in the year, I was like, wow, I really like him. It has not been a good few weeks for Nitro, so.
For the Nitro.
I reckon imagine if Nitro kicked like a bag of 3.
Oh,
imagine Nitro wins the Norman.
Nitro's set shot for goal routine is
so bad.
Outrageous. When he stands there, puts the ball and he like moves his hips around like he's got a hula hoop on there. Then he runs out to the side and it doesn't matter where he's kicking from, but he kicks around the corner. Incredible. He's kicked like 9-1 for the year.
Oh, it's been bad. Oh,
he also,
I don't know about the last sort of second half though. Because he came into the league and was doing it and it was like, oh, it's so funny. He kicks it around the body and he was kicking him, but now he's not kicking him and like at some point he's going to have to change, I reckon, for sure.
Here's a memory that I have from for some reason I must have been watching the under 18s when Graham Myers was playing for Geelong Falcons in the grand final. It would have been the TSC Cup grand final at the time. Graham Myers kicked 7 in the grand final.
He's kicked 18-5 for the year.
Interesting.
Not bad.
He's kicked 7 in a granny before. So grind there's my smoky grind for a minimum of 3 goals.
Love it. I'm going to go, I'm rock solid on Geelong. Gary for the Norman. It's going to be, look, this is Game of Destiny. This is what movies, see, this is why sports are the best. Because if you put it in a movie, you wouldn't believe it could be possible. So that's my lock.
Time for the prelim final edition of He's Been Doing It All Day, the weekly award. There's been some big winners before. A lot of them actually been Richmond and Geelong players in the past. But Simon, kick us off. Who is your bloke that's been doing it all day?
Well, mate, there's before Albert Einstein won the Nobel Prize, there was, I don't know, someone famous said it, that this award has no legitimacy if Albert Einstein's name isn't etched onto the trophy board. And I am saying the same for the Who's Been Doing It All Day. If this award never gets a G. Ablett from Geelong on it, it is an absolute farce. So I'm going to go with Gary Ablett, 14 disposals. I mean, he only went at 64%, but, mate, absolute match winner. He was a match winner. Kicked 2 goals, 2. Got it at goal assist, 7 goals, score involvements. Mate, and he's just kicked 1 from 55 on the run. Put your life on it. Put your life on it. That's a lock. G. Ablett for me this week. He was a star. He is. I actually wrote in my notes, Gary Ablett is grouse at football. That was it. That was my note.
He actually had that moment where he was also on the run. It looked like he was going to drop it from 40, and then he tried to sell the candy, and it didn't work out so well. That was a moment where I was like, "Oh, this will be a goal," but then no dice.
Then he didn't kick it.
All right, And much like your one, Simon, I feel like it doesn't count if we don't have this bloke on. I made mention of it before, but Justin Martin. I know there's
Oh,
an
mate,
easy
when the
one.
whips are cracking, the champs are in the awards, aren't they? Jeepers.
My goodness. Again, I was like, yeah, he played really well. And then you look at the stats and you're like, wow, he actually had the ball a lot. And then you actually watch the touches that he had in all the highlights. He's involved in everything. People have been debating at the moment whether he is the greatest finals player ever. And if he wins a third Norm Smith, he's going to be bloody hard to argue against.
He's a champion. He's so good. There was a large portion of my football following where I didn't want him to be good, but he's also grass at football.
Yeah, and normally we do like to celebrate the little guys, the guys who've been doing different things all day, but bloody hell.
Yep.
Dustin Martin. Have it. Justin, finish us off.
Yep. I'm going on field, but in a different sense. Who's been doing it all day this week? It was the umpires in last night's game because now I want to say it was number 23, and I've just tried to look him up, but I haven't found his name. I think it was 23, might have been 22. The bouncing last night was incredible.
Unbelievable.
Now, I have made centre bounces my corner this year. I've been on that block all year. Just exceptional. The height and just the accuracy. Like, they're just going straight up because Razor Ray, absolutely embarrassed. He should never be able to bounce a Sheeran ever again, honestly, after what he's done the last few weeks. And then you get blokes like they had last night, just sending him into orbit. And it's just visually, it's a treat. And nothing gets me more excited for the restart of play than just a bounce straight up the chimney. It's just so good.
No one is happier that the grand final is played at the Gabba, and there's no drop-in wicket. They've just gone
Great
hard
bouncing deck.
cement cricket pitch under there. The umpires are frothing it.
Yeah. Nathan Williamson wears number 22. He's got a little bit of a blonde comb over.
Yeah, it might have been him. Might have been 23. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, they were all great. Good on them.
Everyone was great. Everyone was great. Football was a real winner.
Absolutely.
The Lions were the losers. It sucks, but we'll be better next year because we got Joe Danaher and we don't care. So it doesn't even matter. Don't worry about it. 2021, Brisbane Lions. Fantastic. Can't wait. All right, that's it for perfect note to end on, too. Perfect note to end on. Enjoy your grand final, everyone. This has been He's Been Doing It All Day. Check out our shirts at the Carlton Draft. The link's in our bio too. The episode's up on YouTube Monday, 7:30. We will see you next week for the big dance when we are announcing the bloke who's been doing it all year. We'll also be talking about the grand final. All right, see you later.